And when your garden gets going, the worst thing for me is when pests and diseases and other totally random acts of nature start attacking and damaging your loved ones. I'm talking about your plants. In this week's Garden Guide, I'm breaking down a couple of garden problems and how you can solve them. I have spent a lot of time this summer talking about all of the beautiful things that you can do in your garden, but now I'm going to spend a little time talking about some of the bad things and a couple of options that you can use to save your plants still. This begonia is encountering some issues with yellow leaves. Yes, we do still have some gorgeous white flowers, but the problem here is underground. Look at how root bound this plant is. You can actually cut a third of these roots off, cut the plant back, and it will kind of refresh it if you give it some new soil. There are some plants that don't have soil issues, but instead are having airborne issues because of how humid this summer has been. I have noticed a lot more powdery mildew than usual this year. You can actually fight some of that fungus. That's what I did with this crepe myrtle. It did not resolve the fungus that was already there, but the new growth was fungal free, and that's why it looks beautiful now that it's in bloom. So this literally saved the blooming season, and it also works on basil and tomatoes that are having fungal issues because of the humidity. Are you noticing holes in your plant's leaves like this one? This is usually from caterpillar damage, beetles, but you know what? This is nature after all, so a little bit of this isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's not going to harm your plant. If you do have a lot of issues with it, you want to spray the undersides of the leaves with neem oil or insecticidal soap. No matter what you do to try and remedy any of these problems your plants have, it's not going to usually fix the problems with old growth. You're only going to notice the benefits of that in the new growth. And I asked you to send in your garden questions, and I am so excited to answer a few of them for you. This question comes in from Christy, who says, why is my Meyer lemon tree not growing or producing fruit? So what she's referring to, she got this plant back in the spring, and it hasn't produced any new leaves since. And you kind of have to understand how citrus grow to realize that obviously this is a very healthy tree. The reason why she's not getting leaves is because they really grow in flushes. You only get 1 or 2 bursts of leaves, usually in the springtime, which is why you want to take your citrus outside as soon as the weather gets mild, so that way it's not growing all of those new leaves inside the house because they'll be a little bit weaker inside the house. And if you look carefully, you do see a couple of immature, really young lemons. They take about a year to ripen, so eventually they're going to turn yellow and you'll be able to make a little lemonade out of them, Christy.